All right, so welcome to my channel. This is Kevin Tyrone Wilson Heron, and I'm going to be exposing some criminals in Minnesota, and who better to start with than the criminals that are, committing crimes against me. Because look here, in the state of Minnesota, for whatever reason, people have said, "Oh, you told on you'll snitch on this person," and no, actually, nobody ever told me I would snitch. Somebody told me I would tell somebody else to snitch. And sure, go ahead and tell, especially if you're not sworn to secrecy. Look here, I'm not sworn to secrecy. If you do something in front of me, I'm liable to tell on your ass. So I'm going to tell somebody. And even if I don't tell, everybody knows what you did. There is nothing that you do that no one knows. Somebody knows. Anything you do, everything you do, somebody knows that you did it, nigga. But, some just hide it better than others. Me? Guess what? I don't mind telling y'all what I know. If I don't know, I don't know. I can't tell you what I don't know. I can only tell you what I do know. And I do know for a fact that all three of these people in the photo that I'm showing you right now are criminals. Okay? Every last one of them. I don't know their criminal history, but I know the crimes that they committed and perpetrated today, August 1st of this year. And we're going to go into it right now. Now, in the dictionary, it defines a conspiracy as a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Now, that would make these people conspirators. Why would I call them conspirators? Why would I say that they had a secret plan to harm someone unlawfully? Because that's what happened with me. They all had a secret plan that I was unaware of. Okay? Then they sprung the trap out and tried to me into a situation where I would, get hostile. He's trying to trigger me with the hostile word. He's trying to trigger me with, all kinds of stuff. Like putting your hands on my belongings. It's very triggering, y'all. Like, look here. Look, I'm thinking the worst, but I got to keep my composure, okay? I got to keep my composure. Look, I've been waiting for this housing to be available for months. I've been living in my car. So imagine you living in your car for months, waiting on help from the state so you can afford a place to live, so you don't have to move out of town, so you're not away from your children, and your friends and your family. And, you're here and you're trying to do the best that you can. You get a group and you're supposedly working with these people who lie to you and tell you that they care. And here we are, you're being exploited. And if you don't shut your mouth, they're going to retaliate on you. And that's exactly what happened to me. And they're claiming that they're nice. And if you mean stupid, yeah, you are nice. You're very stupid people, but you're not good, not by far. None of you are good. You're actually all very evil people. And this is why you deserve to go to prison. Now let's diagnose this video and, let's go over it and, put context to it. Because, I want to directly answer to the claims. Because, when you're right there in the moment, you can't really do fact checking. But, thank God that we have the equipment now to be able to go through what was said, record what was said, so that you have evidence to prove and defend yourself properly. Because this is probably what I would take to court, is this video, and play it for the judge and for the jury and whoever else, the public who wants to hear it. Anybody who's interested in this case, you'll be able to see exactly why S.Johnson and his co-conspirators are all criminals and they all deserve to go to prison. So sit back and we're going to watch these criminals commit a crime right now. One question I got, bro. Like, so since I know you said that they rescinded the lease, right? Did they give you any type of paperwork? Any paperwork they're supposed to give me for rescinding or anything?
That's just an idea on the radio. I don't know. As far as what paperwork rescinding the lease?
Yeah, just saying that they rescinded the lease. Any of that, like, because you said you gave them the copy and the deposit. You're supposed to give me a copy, but
you don't have a lease anymore. So you don't get a copy.
Right,
It's
and
no longer a lease.
he said that, but the reason why, right? What is even the reason why they rescinded?
Because it's too much back and forth, and it's too much. It's become a hostile situation.
It's not a hostile situation if I'm not hostile.
When you go back, it doesn't mean you're hostile. It's a hostile situation. The landlord's uncomfortable. The owner's uncomfortable. It's a hostile situation.
Because I complained about the.
Because I asked you to give me a kickback and you refused. Things like that. Easy stuff like that becomes hostile. That's what I'm saying. Things like that. It's the constant back and forth. Nobody has time for that, Kevin. We have other things we need to do. We have other clients. People that are in worse situations than you. So I don't have time for this right here, Kevin. That's when it becomes hostile when you're going back and forth. Hostility doesn't mean we're getting loud. It's just a back and forth exchange and you're not going nowhere. That's what makes it hostile. That's what nobody wants to do.
To me, you're saying hostile, but it sounds like retaliatory. It sounds like retaliation.
How's retaliation?
Because I make a complaint and then y'all retaliate on me and rescind the lease.
That's not retaliation.
That is retaliation.
No, you're unpleased with the unit. So therefore...
It's not that I'm unpleased, it's that it's unlivable. You got roaches in there, bro. I can't live in there with roaches.
You're unpleased with the unit and you rescinded your lease. It's not retaliation, you're unpleased. What do you mean?
I didn't rescind the lease. I just want a copy of the rescinded.
You're saying it's retaliation. It's not. You're unpleased with the unit, so he's rescinding the lease.
And then all in end, the owner does not want to
do it no more. It's become hostile to him.
He forfeited your lease
Before
you were able to receive it. You only get a copy when you're a tenant.
Or do I get a copy of the
To be in a tenant,
never made it,
you were supposed to
Kevin.
move in today at 5.
Yes.
You already blew that before the 5
Never
o'clock.
made it.
The lease got a void on it now. It's no good. It's not even real no more. It's over. It's over.
That's what we're trying to explain to you.
Had you been in here and did this yesterday, tomorrow, after you moved in, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, if this was...
No, he still would have had to do the 14 days.
But he would have to deal with the 14-day move out and all that other stuff. But we didn't.
So the whole point
You never
still
made
went
it
into
to your first day of moving in. That was me being nice to you.
The lawyer doesn't know that.
Yeah, so technically, legally, you never even moved
Right.
in. You never even moved in, so you're not a tenant.
Well, let me holler. Okay, so after y'all got to see it, y'all got to witness it. Now let's expose it. You know, because we already got that out the way. We let y'all see it, and we let you hear it completely unedited. Now we're about to go back, and we're about to listen to it again. This time, we're gonna criticize it. Let's go in. One question I got, bro. Like, so since I know you said that they rescinded the lease, right? Did it give you any type of paperwork? Any paperwork they're supposed to give me for rescinding or anything?
That's just going to be on the landlord. I don't know.
Hey, Treese, let me explain this to you. Treese, you are S.Johnson supervisor. You heard what the man said on the tape. He said that there was a recension of the lease. Okay? In the state of Minnesota, that is unlawful, especially if it was done without my knowledge, which it was. No, a landlord cannot rescind a lease without the tenant's knowledge or consent, unless there's a valid legal reason and proper notice is provided. I received no notice, and there's no legal proper justification. That's why it was never done through the courts. That's why he didn't reach out to his supervisor. And if he did reach out to you and you approve this, then you also are at fault, Treese. You know, regrettably. But I don't believe that you had any involvement because you seem to be puzzled and you don't know much of nothing. Which is crazy because I'm like, don't they have to get your approval? But, you know, maybe they work without too much oversight, and I can understand that, Treese. I understand this. However, what was not clicking for me, and I don't think will be clicking for most people who would look over your handling of this situation, is you and the others making a decision against me, you know, a homeless, disabled individual. You're allowing S. Johnson to have opinionated biases that take precedence over evidence and facts. And you're allowing him to abuse and mistreat people on your program. Okay? Listen to this. All you gotta do is Google it. Here's why no landlord cannot rescind a lease without tenant's knowledge or consent unless there is a valid legal reason and proper notice is provided. Okay? Me damaging a unit is not a legal basis to void a lease. It's not. I already went over this with Shaun Johnson in the in his inbox, but I sent it to him, showing him where I got the information, because I'm not just running my mouth like he was. It's not that. Like, I asked him, could he pull up where he was citing all his rules, and he didn't pull up nothing. He didn't ever send me nothing. He said, "Oh, it's in the rule book." What rule book, bro? How am I supposed to know what the rules are, and you ain't never give me the rule book, bro? All you giving me was a tenant handbook that I'm following to the T. You, however, ain't following the tenant handbook, okay? He need to read the tenant handbook before he start, engaging in any type of conversation about, laws or rules or anything like that. He don't follow the rules. I'm talking about S.Johnson. Look here. Simply no. So you cannot violate or rescind the lease or breach the lease because you think that repairing the unit is, means that the landlord can claim that the tenant caused damage. Your claim is that the landlord claimed that I caused damage in the unit. Okay? All right? Look here. However, if the tenant's repairs are substandard or if the damage is beyond what is considered normal wear and tear, the landlord may still be able to charge the tenant. So the most you could do, just like you were trying to say, the most you could do for me is put under the little wood, the little wood piece and some traps, and that was all you could do for me. The only thing you could do to me as far as damages is charge me. Put it on my tab. But you cannot evict me. It's not a reason, or legally, you cannot breach or terminate or rescind the lease simply because I make repairs, or even if I damage the unit outside of normal wear and tear. And there is no damage in that unit outside of the damage that was there previously to my arrival, like the gaping holes underneath the unit, underneath the sink. Now, why y'all want to talk about that damage, but that damage was there way before I got there. The holes in the walls that I patched up, those were there way before. So, this is my apartment, y'all. I'm supposed to be moving in on the 1st. The 1st is coming up tomorrow, and the place is trash still. It's not painted, and there's a guy over here painting today, I don't know what the fuck he is. I think he's just like some kind of handyman. But as y'all can see, the walls are just torn to fucking hell. The dude came over, he painted, if this is what you call it. But look, this dude did no prep work. So you see all these, you see all that, it's because this dude did no prep work. He didn't sand shit, he didn't caulk nothing, he didn't do nothing, he didn't level out nothing, bro. So I'm about to go over all this because I gotta live here, and I'm not about to be, he didn't. I took off this stuff. I'm repainting this. I'm gonna clean this and try to salvage this as much as possible. The door, I could use a new door because, like, as you can see, the damage that Carl has made by painting that paint without primer, without prep, he damaged the whole entire unit with that shitty ass paint job. That unit needs to be repainted again. Okay? The stuff he just painted was garbage, and I got video footage of that. Yeah. So look here, don't play, cause I look here, I got evidence of the damage that you caused, Carl. Not show any damage that I've caused. All you're gonna see is my attempts at repair. Now, if you're silly and goofy and you don't understand that a repair cannot be, used or misconstrued as damage, especially intentional damage. Nah. So, yeah. Me plastering holes. You want to say that that's damage? You out your fucking mind. Something's wrong with you, S.Johnson, and anybody else that concurs with him. And it's not legal. Listen here. Here's more breakdowns of this. Landlord's right to charge the tenant caused damage. That's all you have. You don't have the right to break the lease because of damage. You could charge somebody, but you can't break that damn lease. Sorry, but that's just how it is. That's just how it goes. Look here. Let's ask the question again. Let's ask it fresh. Can a landlord rescind a lease due to tenant damages? Let's just say that. Generally, a landlord cannot unilaterally rescind a lease solely because tenant caused property damage. Okay? So that means what you attempted to say and attempted to justify a legal reason to breach that lease, and it's not legal in the state of Minnesota to do so. You might be able to get away with that type of shit in bumfuck wherever the hell, some stupid ass backwards ass city or state, but that ain't how it goes in the state of Minnesota, bro. No, the state of Minnesota ain't supposed to allow your ass to do that. You could charge me for the damage, but you cannot legally rescind or break or breach the contract. That is just Minnesota contract law. Yeah, just saying that they rescinded the lease. Any of that, like, because you said you gave them the copy and the deposit. You're supposed to give me a copy, but
you don't have a lease anymore, so you don't get a copy.
Right, and
no longer a lease.
He said that, all right, so we're gonna ask the question, right? We're gonna bypass these people. And we're gonna ask AI. Let's ask AI if that's true or not, because obviously people are uneducated, ill-informed, and they're overly opinionated. So let's just ask AI: is a recension? No. Is a verbal? No. Is a contract? Is a lease agreement? How about that? A lease agreement voided or no longer exists because, let's say, because landlord reneges? No, he said he voided it or something. Because how will we ask this question? Because landlord rescinded. Oops, because the landlord rescinded of offer without tenant knowledge after signing. Let's see. AI says a lease agreement, once signed by both the tenant and landlord, becomes legally binding. A landlord cannot unilaterally rescind or void a signed lease agreement without a tenant's knowledge or consent without a valid legal grounds to do so. So there is a lease. All right. What about if a landlord destroys the lease or doesn't give you a lease? Because we're gonna just pretend as if S. Johnson's my landlord because he's acting like it. If S. Johnson, if landlord, oops, keep on hitting that. Refuses to give you copy of lease and claims there was no lease. Is there still a legal claim of Tennessee? How about that? Tennessee or tenant C. Something to that. Tennessee. How about that? Some shit like that. The answer is yes. Even if the landlord denies the existence of a lease or refuses to provide a copy, a tenant may still have legal claims of Tennessee. So I'm not making up my claims of Tennessee. I'm claiming the Tennessee. And the absence of a rent lease, a Tennessee can be established through oral argument or by tenant's continued occupancy and payment of rent. Okay? Which is proven. I've already proven this. So just because y'all claim that, oh, there's no Tennessee, it doesn't mean nothing. Your argument is worthless and it's mute because that's not how the law works in the state of Minnesota. The reason why, right? What is even the reason why they were sending?
Because it's too much back and forth, and it's become a hostile situation.
It's not a hostile situation if I'm not hostile.
When you go back, it doesn't mean you're hostile. It's a hostile situation. The landlord's uncomfortable. The owner's uncomfortable. It's a hostile situation.
Because I complained about the...
Because I asked you to give me a kickback and you refused. Things like that. Easy stuff like that becomes hostile. That's what I'm saying. Things like that. It's the constant back and forth. Nobody has time for that, Kevin. We have other things we need to do. We have other clients, people that are in worse situations than you. So I don't have time for this right here, Kevin. That's when it becomes hostile when you're going back and forth. Hostile doesn't mean we're getting loud. It's just a back and forth exchange. You're not going nowhere.
Let's ask AI. Let's ask Google, y'all. What is a hostile situation? Because he's claiming that there's a hostile situation. I'm claiming that there's not a hostile situation. A hostile situation generally refers to a characteristic or environment characterized by antagonism, opposition, and lack of friendliness. So that's not coming from me. I'm very friendly. I'm very, not in opposition. I'm not antagonistic. I'm not lacking friendliness. However, that's exactly what you're displaying, S.Johnson, in this video. You're not friendly. You are in opposition and you're antagonistic. You're trying to antagonize me by, calling my situation hostile, implying that I'm being hostile because I complained. See, you trying to trigger me and make me out to be someone hostile. Hence why you're claiming threats and stuff like that, because you're a liar and you're trying to paint me in a hostile manner in order to justify your illegal activity. This is why you deserve to be in prison, dog. Matter of fact, I pray that you go to jail. Yes, you need to go to prison, bro. You need to go sit down for a while. Because who knows how many people you've exploited and taken advantage of, bro. I'm disabled. What the fuck is wrong with you? Excuse my French, y'all, but this is a man who gives 0 F's, okay? He's above consequence. He's above approach. He has no oversight, no nothing. This dude is possibly doing real harm to people without any oversight and without any checks or balances. His supervisor Treese doesn't know what's going on with this guy, nor does I don't feel like she cares, because how could you care, Treese, if this guy's been working for you for a year and he feels comfortable enough to do this, and y'all supported him doing this to me? Y'all didn't do any oversight before you made a decision on me, Treese. And this is why I need you to do the right thing. Terminate S. Johnson immediately. Issue out an apology. Be regretful and empathetic and sympathetic to who you've caused serious damage to. I am suffering irreparable damage. You know what I'm doing right now? It's 9:29. This is my birthday. And I'm sitting outside of a park that I'm probably about to be sleeping at. A park, and I'm parked in my car, and I fear for my life and safety. I'm not in a safe place because of S.Johnson, because of mnstop.org. I am in an unsafe environment because of the actions of your subordinate over your employee and his accomplices. They all deserve to go to prison. They all deserve to lose everything that they have so that they could be in similar positions, so that they can deal with the next S. Johnson who takes advantage of them and does them any type of way. He deserves exactly what he's been dishing out. But, you know, we'll see what happens.
That's what makes it hostile. That's what nobody wants to do.
To me, you're saying hostile, but it sounds like retaliatory. It sounds like retaliation.
How's retaliation?
Because I make a complaint and then y'all retaliate on me and rescind the lease.
That's not retaliation.
That is retaliation.
No, you're unpleased with the unit.
All right. So let's call what he's doing, you know, what it is. It's a tactic called coercion, okay? Police officers do this often. Let me go ahead and go over coercion. Oops, hang on. Let me make sure I spell coercion right, because it's not a word I use often. Coercion. All right, coerce. Okay. False statements and coercion tactics are manipulation. Okay, so if y'all don't understand, that's absolutely right. Using false statements like what he just did. He claimed that I am unhappy with the unit. I am not unhappy with the unit. I'm actually very happy with the unit. I love the unit. The unit's great. I like the layout. I like the size. I like the location. The only thing I dislike is the landlord and the landlord's behavior. I dislike Shaun Johnson's behavior. Those are the things I dislike. I never said I dislike that unit. I love that unit. I really like that unit. I dislike they ass. I dislike you, Shaun Johnson. That's the truth. I never said I disliked that unit. I want to actually fix the unit. That's why I repaired the unit. I never said that. See, you making up your own narrative in order to justify your criminal behavior, Shaun. And that's a manipulative tactic that we're not going to tolerate. I'm not tolerating that. And neither should you, Minnesota1stop.org, Treese, and, you know, all your other superiors. False statements, making false statements such as lying or distorting facts is a deceptive tactic used to mislead and influence others for personal gains to avoid accountability. That's exactly what you did. You used false statements in order to manipulate me and coerce me. You claimed that me keeping the keys were theft. That is manipulation and attempts of coercion. You attempted to threaten me and coerce me to voluntarily give up my rights to that unit, which is criminal. You can't go around trying to manipulate people and coerce them and threaten them and think that there's no consequences, S. Johnson. That's why I'm going to be seeking to press criminal charges against you. You know, I'm a vulnerable adult. Okay? I have mental issues documented. I'm on disability right now. So you doing this to me is an enhanceable criminal offense. No offense to anybody who is, you know, I guess too far gone where they can't make these arguments. But I'm going to do this for y'all too. Because they take advantage of y'all just like they take advantage of me. And they think we just supposed to go out silently. Not I. Look here, I'm far from being just a average victim that's just going to take it. No. So this is examples of gaslighting, where a manipulator denies events and twists conversations, making a victim question their own reality and memory. That's what he's trying to do. That's what S. Johnson has done. All these statements, all of these check out to exactly what he did and what he's doing in this video. Coercion involves the various forms of pressure, threats, and intimidation to compel someone to act against their will. So the threats of arrest, the threats of trespass, the threats of dissolution of lease, the threats of, retaliating because I complained. These are all coercive tactics. Okay? Trying to gaslight me and, start a confrontation with me. I'm not going for that. This can range from subliminal pressure, such as emotional blackmail or guilt tripping, to avert threats or of harm or abandonment. So this is exactly what we're dealing with. Tell me I'm wrong. Y'all can read over this, okay? But this is just what it is. S.Johnson is a liar and a manipulator, Treese. Yeah, let's go.
So therefore,
it's not that I'm unpleased. It's that it's unlivable. You got roaches in there, bro. I can't live in there with roaches.
You're unpleased with the unit, and you rescinded your lease. It's not retaliation. You unpleased. What do you mean?
I didn't rescind lease. I just want a copy of the rescindance.
You're saying it's retaliation. It's not. You're unpleased with the unit, so he's rescinding the lease.
All right, so I'm gonna try to, recite what he just said, and let's just, criticize it a little bit, just a little bit, Any rational person, he just said that because I was unpleased with the unit, I rescinded the lease. That's what he's claiming, that I rescinded the lease, which is a false statement. That's not true. And I corrected him. I said, no, it's not that I'm unpleased with the unit, because I'm not unpleased with the unit, bro. You're the one making that claim, which means you're trying to manipulate me and manipulate, my perception of reality, and trying to blame it on me and saying that it's my fault because I, complained or I had a problem with the unit, which is, look here, it's y'all job to make sure that that unit is habitable, that it is in conditions to rent. Y'all didn't do that. Y'all didn't give a damn. But, I decided to work with y'all because, not because I was being nice, but because of my housing situation. Okay? My housing situation. Not because I'm nice. I'm not a nice person. I'm not here to be nice. This is business. And y'all don't seem to understand that, nor do y'all care. And, I'm going to reiterate this again. This is the reason why S.Johnson should be, terminated. He does not care. He doesn't have time for, rational thoughts and, constructive criticism and corrections. He don't care about none of that, man. He only wants to be paid and ride in his little nice car and go home to his family. Meanwhile, he doesn't care if I go home to my family. He doesn't care if I have a home or a car, or he doesn't want that for me. He wants me to be in an even worser situation so he could exploit me even further. He wants me to be crazy. He wants to, frame me in a negative light just so that he can get away with all the criminal actions he's, clearly used to getting away with. Who knows how many people this has affected.
And then all in end, the owner does not want to
do it no more. It's become hostile to him.
He forfeited your lease
before
you were able to receive it. You only get a copy when you're a tenant.
Or do I get a copy
of
it? You're never able to be in a tenant.
Never made it,
you were supposed to move in today at 5. Yes. You already blew that before the 5 o'clock.
Never made it.
The lease got a void on it now. It's no good. It's not even real no more. It's over. It's over.
That's what we're trying to explain to you.
Had you been in here and did this yesterday, tomorrow, after you moved in, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, if this was...
No, he still would have had to do the 14 days.
But he would have to deal with the 14-day move out and all that other stuff, but we didn't...
No, so the whole point
still never made it to your first day of moving in. That was me being nice to you.
The lawyer doesn't know that.
Yeah, so technically, legally, you never even moved in.
Right.
You never even moved in, so you're not a tenant.
Well, let me... All right. So, there y'all have it, y'all. These criminals... Do y'all hear the conspiracy? They're literally arguing and bickering with one another on how to try to, fuck me out of the agreed upon lease that was already signed. That makes it a legally binding contract. Okay, your claims of recension and your claims that, oh, it's just over with because you complained the day before your lease started. Therefore, we could just rescind the lease, without notice, without probable cause, without justifiable cause of any sort, bruh. That is not how things work in the state of Minnesota, Carl. All right. That is not the way that things work, Carl. That's not the way things work, S. Johnson. That is not the way that things work. Miss 14 days. It hasn't been 14 days, and that's not right. No. Shut up. Shut up. All of y'all are criminals, and y'all all committed conspiracy. Y'all devised a plan behind my back, and it was unlawful and illegal, and it caused me harm, and y'all intended to cause me harm. You attempted to rob me of my unit and my property. You intended to rob me of my sanity and my safety. You all are guilty of multiple crimes. And I'm going to go over, some of those crimes with y'all, throughout the videos, but this is just one that's just, glaring. It's false statements, neglect, abuse, threats, what else? Illegal breach of contract, unlawful exclusion of property, which is a legal eviction, which is a gross misdemeanor, property theft in the third degree, because I'm missing a large considerable amount of money that I had hidden within my property, because I did move into the unit. Okay? I moved into the unit, and I have evidence that I moved into the unit via the text message that you sent me saying that Carl had brought my possessions outside of the unit because y'all deemed me to no longer be a tenant because I made a complaint the night before. And we're going to read that. Let me go ahead and pull up that text message. Let's go ahead and read that text message, before you start making claims that I threatened you and all this stuff. Is crazy, right? Because, most people, if you would touch their things and violated their things the way that you've done, you would have got a very hefty earful of some pretty, hostile words would have came flinging at you from just the average person, from the streets like myself. But, I managed to keep calm and not allow you to trigger me and make me become hostile and violent, despite the fact that you robbed me. Let's go ahead and take a look at your text message. So here goes some more evidence. We got Shaun Johnson contacted me via text after I contacted him the night before, saying, hey, just following up with you. I know it's late, but tomorrow maybe I can touch base with you about the apartment. So I didn't even get to complain to this man yet. See, I complained to Carl, okay? I told him I was going to talk to my housing coordinator the next following day, right? The next following day, before I even met with this guy, not AJ, but SJ, Shaun Johnson, he responds to me while I was on my way to the unit to meet with him after he told me over the phone, out of nowhere, that they were going to be rescinding the lease and all this other stuff. And I was like, hold up, I'm on my way. Click. On my way. He writes to me trying to get an ETA. So he's rushing me. Despite him knowing that it's nothing but construction and all this stuff. So he's rushing me over there. He's saying, I have to go to another client. Carl will have your things downstairs for you. I'm trying to find a shelter for you in the meantime. You hear this shit? Not a hotel, not another place, but a shelter. You hear that? Thanks a lot for nothing, Johnson. You are a terrible, evil individual. Okay? So this proves that I was already moved into the unit. My belongings were in the unit. And this guy removed my property without a court order without express consent or permission from anybody of authority. Okay, besides, whoever his boss, I guess, whoever is the landlord of the building, whoever owns the building, I guess, berated Carl, according to him, and he somehow was forced or compelled to steal my property, burglarize the unit, steal the property, and vandalize the property by, taking the door and making it uninhabitable, tampering with like the toilet and things of that nature, not fixing jack, but deciding to do that. Okay? And right now I'm pretty sure that they're trying to fix that unit and making it, putting lipstick on a pig in order to try to get somebody to rent there. They might even give it away because they're trying to put somebody in there so that I can't make a return to the unit. So even if I go to court and win my court case, if they're fast enough and put somebody in the unit, despite the fact that I might even be victorious, they will already have put someone in the unit to prevent me from going in the unit. Okay? Y'all understand how this works? So I can't wait on legal aid or anybody else to start litigations against them in the court, because they will attempt to try to subvert me going back in this unit by any means necessary, including just sticking anybody in there and claiming, oh, you can't go back in there because we already have a different a person. Like, they got that unit that is uninhabitable on the market right now. It's uninhabitable. It's not ready. It's not in nowhere near condition to move in, but it's on the market. I talked to a lawyer today who seen it on their site as rentable for $1,400 a month. It's wildly bizarre. Okay? But yeah, this is what they do. And this is the criminal nature of the criminals of Minnesota. And I very much appreciate y'all for watching the video all the way until the end. This is just a very small portion of what I've exposed about S.Johnson and his accomplices and their criminal behavior. Because everything that this person has done has been criminal in nature, and they have committed the crime of conspiracy, which has a hefty and lengthy time of prison. I believe it's a prison sentence. Maybe they could get some deals, they cut some deals and get probation or something. I don't know. Y'all know how Minnesota does, and how this justice system really doesn't care about justice, because if justice was to be served, these people would be serving a considerable amount of prison time. And look here, the way that the St. Paul Police Department has been dealing with these people, I doubt that anybody gets charged. I doubt that anybody goes to prison, because of the gross negligence and incompetence of the city of St. Paul and the St. Paul Police Department. Maybe the sheriff's office might be a little bit better. I'm not sure. I'm going to send this over to the sheriff's office and see if they will, press charges. If they could get somebody to press charges on all three of y'all, that would actually be, ideal. If we're going to talk about justice, maybe the sheriff's office could, revitalize my my sanity and help me recover from, all the damages that I take. Maybe something could come of that. I hope that they press charges on all of you and send every last one of y'all to prison. I hope y'all all lose your jobs. And me saying that, like, I hope you lose everything and stuff like that, that's not to be misconstrued as a threat. I'm not threatening to harm you. You losing property is not harm to you. It's not harm to you mentally or physically. I mean, maybe, you could claim that it's harm, but look here, I'm not claiming that I'm going to take anything from you. I'm claiming I hope others take from you as you have taken from me. I hope you get what you have dished out. Okay? I pray that the Most High takes it all from you. That's not a threat. Now, that is just cosmic and karmic energy coming back to deal with you in the way that you have been dealing, So that's what that is. And I ain't gonna put no paint where it ain't. Subscribe, share, like, and comment. Treese, I pray that you are watching this video. And anybody who wants to get in contact with me, y'all can email me right now at kv31st@gmail.com. Because the limitations that I have with the videos, because of the size of the file, I can no longer wait and try to divulge this in private and give y'all little thumb drives and stuff like that. If y'all, I would give y'all a thumb drive and y'all can see the entire interaction with me and your subordinates. But it is what it is. I'm gonna put out what I see fit, and I'm gonna give narration to that as well, and provide context as far as my intentions, and the context as far as my perception and my opinion about your subordinates and how they dealt with me and handled me, and my intentions on my actions as well, and give context to that. And I'm out.